Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Aging with Attitude. My name is Phil Koch. I'll be the host this evening on Channel 21, which is covering the Charlotte region in North Carolina, upstate South Carolina. Thank you. Thank you again for joining us. We have tonight a guest, Christine Schroeder. Welcome, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Great. Tell me, you are Executive Director of Hope Cancer Ministries. Is that right?
Correct.
Great. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Hope Cancer Ministries and what they do?
Well, Hope Cancer Ministries was founded in 2000. It was founded by a husband and wife who felt like there was not a lot of support for the cancer patient and their family. We had support for the cancer patient, but no one really addressed the holistic approach of taking care of everyone that was affected by the patient's cancer. Right. It started out small. They got volunteers, they delivered meals, they did some encouragement, sat at bedside, just basically were there emotionally. And then over the course of the next couple of years, it took on a bigger meaning. And the kind of services that we deliver today are hot meals. That be for someone who had chemo that day, and they have 3 young boys, and I've been at chemo from 7 to 3. I come home and I'm really tired, and instead of me having to worry about cooking a meal for my family, a volunteer would deliver a meal. And they can just rest on the couch while their 3 grown sons sit and, eat the dinner at the table. So it's a really big relief for the cancer patient. And then we provide, we have a food pantry, and the food pantry is staffed by churches and people who do fund drives throughout the year for us and bring food into our pantry. And we had the food pantry established about 3 years ago, and no one really used it. And we were like, oh, this great food pantry, it looks great, all this food, and we didn't understand why anyone wasn't partaking in it. Right. And what we realized is the same issue applied. If I'm too sick to cook a meal, I'm probably too sick to drive over to Hope Cancer to pick up food. Right. Or I might not be financially able to put gas in my car to drive 10 miles over to Hope Cancer. So we just started, every month we have different volunteer groups come in and we do a food delivery. We actually did one 2 Sundays ago, and we delivered 70 boxes of food to 70 clients. And the food was donated by 2 local churches. Wow. And it was 70 volunteers, and we organized them, and it was, we have a line where everybody puts food in the boxes, and then we have our signature butterfly that children make throughout the year for us, and we staple them on the boxes and the bags to make them look more aesthetically pleasing. And then we have all the volunteers waiting outside, and we give them directions, give them a little bit information about the client. The clients are called ahead of time, and they really look forward to the food as well as the ministry of these, fresh, happy faces coming to their house to visit with them. We also provide emotional support, and we have a counselor that we provide free counseling, right. And she'll go in their homes as well as do the counseling in the office, whichever the person's comfortable with. And that's the whole family. Sometimes it's the husband and wife dealing with the impact of cancer's had on the effect of their marriage. The financial strain has affected their relationship. Sometimes it's the kids, dad's sick or mom's sick, and they're really not handling it well, and they need counseling as a group, as a family. Sometimes it's just a cancer patient, but we don't charge our clients for that. We also provide what's called a phone buddy, and that's somebody that has been through the cancer experience. We've trained them, and then they volunteer their time to call our clients once or twice a month just to check in. And it seems like it'd be a small thing, but if you've never had chemotherapy before and you're really frightened about what's going to happen when I go in today, and I've never had this happen, if you can have someone share where you're going to go in and they're going to put the line in, and then you're going to wait 20 minutes and they're going to give you cookies and juice, just kind of explain the simple process. It takes a lot of the fear out of that for the person, so it helps them emotionally. Yeah, the individual and the family who probably don't know what's going to happen. Have any idea. Yeah. And we also have a phone buddy for the caregiver and if needed. We call them text buddies for the kids, because kids don't talk on the phone, they text. So we have 16 and older trained volunteers that also text our 16 or younger or 16 or older kids. Well, that's a good point. So it could be patients with cancer from any age group, children up through seniors. We have everybody. We don't have a special cancer. It's all cancers, all ages. Our mission statement is to provide spiritual, emotional, and practical support to cancer patients and their families. Okay. And whatever that looks like, and it can be something as simple as a couple phone calls a month, all the way up to counseling and maybe we also provide financial help for like the Duke bill, the Piedmont gas bill. We might help with partial rent payments or partial mortgage payments. We also, because we've been doing this for 14 years, I've only been with Hope for 4, but for 14 years we've been doing this. We have a huge resource, and we know the city quite well. Like, I can tell you, Crisis Assistance Ministry can help you with this. We can tell you what paperwork you need to have when you go there. So we really help that cancer patient who's bombarded with all these things that have now changed their life irrevocably forever, and we can help them sort out, well, this is what you're going to need for this, and this is what you're going to need for that, and this is the best time to go. And so if we can't help them, usually we can direct them in the right place.
So would oncologists here in town,
they refer to us.
they would refer to you, hospitals?
Yeah, we have a good relationship with Presby and Levine Cancer Institute, as well as there's a few independent oncologists left, and we do get referrals from them.
Right.
We provide a lot of feedback, like we'll work collaboratively.
Yeah.
Because there's services that are offered, like at LCI, which is Levine Cancer Institute, and Presbyterian uses Buddy Kemp, that's their cancer support.
Right.
We make sure we stay in constant contact with them so we don't overlap or do something that's disruptive to something they've already put in place.
Right.
So we have our client coordinator, Cheryl Hardman, is the person who handles all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you talk about staff. So how many staff do you have?
I am full-time, but I'm the
Right.
only full-time staff member.
Okay.
I have an assistant who works 1 day a week, and her name is Beth Helms. She's my staff assistant. And everything else that I can't get done, she does. I have Lisa Tompkins, who's our volunteer coordinator, and she works 1 day a week coordinating all the volunteers with the needs of the clients, training, education, support, because being a volunteer and caring for a cancer patient can be stressful.
Yes.
So we need to support them too, so that they feel like they're not being put in situations they're not comfortable with. And then Cheryl Hardman works about 2 or 3 days a week. She's part-time, I guess you'd call her, and she manages all the client issues.
And where is the office physically located?
It's at 4329 Ashley Circle, which is near Jackson Park Ministries.
Okay.
It's strategically located for a lot of our clients who it's close to the hospital, so if they need to stop by on the way, they can. A lot of our clients, when we initially get a referral, a lot of times we go to their homes, but
Right.
sometimes they come to our office. And our office a year ago was renovated by a local church that donated all the furniture, they donated the volunteers, and they painted. And we actually painted the walls, it's color called Happy Blue. And
Is that Carolina blue?
it's actually a little off of Carolina Blue because I didn't want to create any controversies if you're an NC State fan, and I know
Right.
you. So it's called Happy Blue, and we did that because we found that people could come initially when they first got diagnosed and get some of our resource material and maybe get some food. And some people felt more comfortable meeting us in the office for the first time until they got to know us, and then we could go to their homes. So having the nicer, aesthetically pleasing office, because what it was all donated furniture that we just did our best with to make it look good. And then having the furniture brand new donated to us and then painted and renovated, it really is a very happy environment. We have pictures all over of volunteers and clients and all of our events throughout the year. So we tried to make it a very welcoming place for our clients to go to. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Now
That's
we're doing
great.
counseling there, so that also there's clients going through there on Thursday.
So on Thursday they'll come in for counseling.
And then we just got an agreement with a local university to do pastoral interns. So
Really?
we're going to be able to provide free pastoral support to those people who'd like it.
Wow.
Now, Hope Cancer is a faith-based ministry.
Okay.
And however, we take all comers. We advertise ourselves as faith-based, but we're not doctrined with any church. We're not affiliated with any church. We're freestanding.
Okay.
All our services are free of charge, and regardless of what your belief system is. We just do what we do because of what we believe, but we don't discriminate against anybody who wants to come to us. All they have to do is call us.
So it's a nonprofit. It's faith-based, but you take any denomination.
Correct? Or none.
Or not. And you can call it on, they just have to have a diagnosis of cancer?
That's
Is
it.
that
And they have
the
to be
issue?
in treatment.
Okay.
We've had people call us and said, I had cancer 4 years ago and now I'm fine.
Right.
That's not what we do. Now, however, if you come to us once you're diagnosed, we will follow you a year after remission.
Okay.
And unfortunately, if the person passes away, we will follow their family for a year. And
Yeah, that's very important.
it
I'm
is
glad
very
you mentioned
important
that,
because we
yeah.
become part of their family, and
Yeah.
we're that connection to that person that they lost, and we knew what they went through. So it becomes we do a lot of talking on the phone, and that might not seem important, but when you're really feeling desperate and you're getting voicemail at your church and voicemail at your friend and voicemail at, maybe a doctor or social worker. But when you call us, we always answer the phone. And if we don't, we call you back in a few minutes. We're very conscientious.
24/7?
No, but we check our voicemail. We're very
Right.
conscientious that cancer isn't a 9 to 3
Right.
situation. And we take good care of ourselves as not to overwhelm ourselves. We have a 7-member board that helps us with that. We have a lot of very involved volunteers. I call them lead volunteers, people that are probably more involved than the average volunteer. So
Right.
we try really hard to spread that around so that we can provide good support for the families.
Wow.
So it's
So you
important.
have patients or people that you're helping with them through the ministry that both survive, and sadly that some do not. So you probably work also with hospice.
We do.
Quite a bit,
What we'll do is hospice does a lot of what we do.
right?
So when it gets to that point, they're more skilled at that last few weeks or months.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of back away a little bit. We'll still
Okay.
stay present because we're a key part of what's gone on, but we'll let hospice come in because they have the skill set and the people that really can get involved. And it becomes a very personal thing towards the end. You have to
Yes.
be careful to be respectful that you're not overstepping into a family beyond your initial relationship, because that's a very intimate thing, someone passing away. So
But you brought up something earlier, and that is, I own a home care company. We talked prior to the show
Correct.
starting, and how many people don't always understand the impact it has, not just to the patient of someone getting cancer, but to the extended family, and the stress involved, and the treatment for them psychologically.
we're
your
very
counseling,
focused on that. We're
that's
very
key.
focused on the family as a whole approach, because sometimes the caregiver gets overlooked terribly.
Yeah.
You have the client gets, talk to the doctors, talk to him, the social worker talks to him, all the family's focused on the patient. And the caregiver is, going 24/7, they never get a break, and they become overwhelmed, and they feel guilty that they even feel bad that no one's, they feel guilty that they're even caring, that they're upset.
Right.
So you have to deal with those feelings. So we try really hard to maybe have them walk us out to the driveway away from the patient and say, hey, so how you doing? Not
Right.
ask them in front of the patient, because they're going to downplay it in front of the patient.
Right.
Because they don't want to they feel like they don't want to make themselves center stage, because that's what's important, is dealing with that person. So I say, hey, walk me to the car. Or we might call later and say, how you doing? Because it's important to get them kind of a little bit away from the situation.
Seems like caregivers oftentimes are family members,
Most of the time, yeah.
and they are physically doing work, but sometimes they don't always get that chance to be the family member
Just be dealing
outside
with
of the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's very stressful. And matter of fact, probably the volunteers that get more stressed out that work with us are the ones dealing with the caregiver, because there's just a lot more. The person who's sick is focusing on their illness, and they tend to just focus on that, where
Right.
the caregiver still has to worry about the kids and the bills and the money. And so you try to keep that away from the cancer patient, because you want them to focus on getting well.
Wow.
So the caregiver, say it's a wife who never had to pay bills, never had to manage a bank account, never had to worry about any of the outside of the home things, and she's an older woman, and all of a sudden her husband gets sick and he can't even offer any guidance because he's too ill.
Right.
So they need a lot of support to just, sometimes just sit down and do a budget with them
Right.
and say, how do I pay all these? How do I go to the bank? What's transferring? Just talking somebody through that. We have a lot of church groups that'll take a family on. If we have an extremely, we call it a needy family that has a lot of extraneous social issues, because unfortunately there's a lot of stuff present before cancer shows up.
Right.
And then the cancer exacerbates all the stuff that was already there. So we have a lot of groups that'll say, hey, we'll adopt a family. So we'll give, say it's a guy group, and they have a single mom has breast cancer and she has 2 young sons. And that male group will take on that family, because they can offer a lot of guidance and support to the teenage boys.
Yeah.
Can I share a story?
Please.
Okay. We have one
Please do.
woman who she got breast cancer, and she's a single mom. She was supporting her 3 sons, and she's a really gentle spirit, sweet lady, but very quick and really say what she needed. And we would always find out about things kind of the last minute, right when it got to the crisis point. And we always encourage people to call us before the Duke bill is going to be shut off at 5. Try to call us a week at a time, because it makes it easier for us to deal with. So we asked one of our church groups if they would adopt this family, and it was an instant connection with the group. They her car broke down, and they found out she was taking the bus 2 hours to her job with all the connections and 2 hours back and doing treatment. She was doing chemo, and she's a child care giver, so it's not like it was an easy job. And so they asked us if we could do a small fundraiser to help buy her a car or fix her present car. So they did a small fundraiser. We donated a little bit, and they raised the rest of the money, because we don't usually buy cars for people, but we can donate a small amount. And they did all the work, and they raised the money, and they purchased a car for her.
Wow.
And that solves her problem for the back and forth of the car. She now could drive back and forth. Well, then the car broke. So we're right back where we started, because unfortunately, if you buy a used car, there's always concerns, even if you check it out. So then I have a friend who I've known for 12 or 13 years who's a mechanic. So I said, take it to him. I trust him. He'll tell us like exactly the bare minimum we need to pay to get this car back on the road. The car wasn't fixable. And so what he did was he took her car as a down payment and gave her a car, sold it to her for a very reasonable rate with honor system payments. And he had checked out the car completely and knew that it was going to be a good car for her. And it just, those kind of things that when you see all that come together, you know, and the volunteer group was driving her over to the mechanic's a friend of mine. She would have, her only other option, because unfortunately when you have a lot of bills, your credit isn't so good, so you are left to options like, you know, loan sharks that sell cars downtown that want to charge you 30% interest. So that was her only other choice. And so he offered her a car that he knew was dependable. Her payments were just her payments, no interest. And he did that all because he cares about her, because he knows about the ministry through me, and because he saw the dedication of the guys that were bringing her over there. And it just, I like that. Yeah, I just like how the community all came together from different places to help this one person. And I like that Hope Cancer is that vessel that brings all these people who, all of our community is full of people who want to help. They just don't sometimes know where to go or how to do it. So it amazed me just to see all these things come together and help her, and now she has a car that's dependable. To get her son to the orthodontist and her to the chemo and pick up her groceries, not only take 30 minutes to get to work and not, 2 hours on the bus each way.
What a great story.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite stories right now. That just happened recently.
And I like that word vessel, because that's what it is. Sounds like you are the bridge to help not only your organization to bring referral sources in if you can help, to help that family. And in that particular situation, it was some financial issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the people are out there that are willing to give. It's just bringing them the situations that they can help with. And people want to feel connected. You know, people give, we all give money to charities for tax deductions or because we believe in something. But to know when you offer support financially and you can actually meet the person you're helping or see the connection that if I give this money, it's going to actually help a direct situation. I think it's a lot more comforting to people that they can see where it's going and how it's working, and they become personally involved and have that connection with the ministry that they're supporting.
Yeah, yeah. So what are the regions? I mean, is it Mecklenburg County only?
It's great. We call it the greater Charlotte area.
Okay.
We have some people as high up as Mooresville.
Yeah.
We have people in Rock Hill.
Okay.
We have people in Concord. And it really is dependent on our volunteer base.
Right.
Like we have a really strong volunteer group in Concord that can handle stuff. We have an affiliation with a church in Lake Norman that helps us with the Mooresville. I will, if the case is serious enough and I feel pulled by my heart that we can do something for this person, I will take the case even if it's far away, but explain to the person that things like maybe a food pantry delivery or a hot meal might not be something we can provide because you're too far away, but we can give you the spiritual and the emotional support and some financial support. So.
Which a lot of it is phone conversations.
It is. It's a huge part of it. You know,
is, yeah.
When I'm speaking to people who support us and, you know, I say I need money for operating costs, and they say, well, for what? Well, we have to have the phone, and we have to have people in the office to answer the phone, and that's a huge part of what we do.
Yeah.
Just being there and being present for somebody on a 10 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning when they just found out they're diagnosed and they're scared and they just need someone to talk to. So.
Yeah. Tell me about, you have a new, some fundraiser events that you do, one more recently, right?
We just started a relationship with Bank of America Stadium and the Carolina Panthers. We have a concession stand that we're assigned to, and we have volunteers through Hope Cancer that go, we work in the concession stand, and we get a certain amount of percentage of what the concession stand raises goes back to Hope Cancer, which is great. It's nice for us.
Yeah.
It's been interesting. We were there on Friday night, and one of the gentlemen that was working the cashier, we have our Hope Cancer hats, but we still wear Carolina Panthers shirts, and we have red aprons on. And we have a tip jar, and anybody who tips, the tips go to support Hope Cancer.
Right.
So this guy's working there, and one of his friends walked by. This is an executive locally. And he walks up and he goes, "Hey, is everything okay? Like, why are you working in the concession stand?" I just thought that was funny. And he's like, "No, it's volunteer." So it was, I don't think a lot of people know that opportunity is there. So it was interesting to see his response. So I haven't ever worked in fast food, so it's been an interesting thing. But I keep reminding myself and the people that are there that
send me your resume. Yeah. See what I can do.
That we're doing this for our ministry. So it's been great. The people reacted very well when we told them. It's amazing when you say, "Hey, I'm not working for Bank of America Stadium. I'm actually in ministry trying to raise money," and they become much more patient and much more.
Yes.
So
okay.
it's been a great experience.
There's a lot of that at the Panther Stadium. They do a lot of that.
Yes, it's huge,
and
it is great for the community.
Yeah.
And it's I'm a huge football fan, so I had a better expectation of, what to expect. So it's been interesting watching some people who haven't been exposed to football or.
Could you see the screen from where you were?
There is a TV right outside our stand that we can
Okay.
kind of pay attention a little bit. And it's cool to be in the stadium when no one's there. That was a neat experience, I think, for everybody in the
Yeah.
beginning and the end, and kind of see the behind the scenes. So, you walk out and look out over it, and there's no one in there, but, they're there 4 hours for the game. So it's been a really great experience. We also have, coming up in October 11th, is called Kate's Race. One of our first clients and then first volunteer, her name was Kate Schultz, and her dream was to have a 5K in honor of people fighting cancer and all cancers, and for those who have lost the battle, an opportunity for their families to come and honor them.
Okay.
She passed away, unfortunately, she had osteosarcoma before the race actually happened. So her parents carried on her wishes, and now we have the race. It'll be our 10th anniversary this year.
Wow.
It's October 11th. The information will be on our website this week. If anyone would like to walk or run in honor of someone.
And what's her name?
Her name was Kate Schultz.
Kate Schultz,
Yeah.
October 11th.
And it's called Kate's Race.
Kate's Race.
And all the proceeds go to support Hope Cancer. So,
Fantastic.
yeah, and it's a really great opportunity to, maybe it's very helpful if you've lost somebody, because you can do something as a family or as a group to honor that person. And it's also, if it's any cancer, it's not specific. So you can come and, be a survivor, and, we cheer, and it's a pretty fun event. I think we do a pretty great job at honoring all the cancers and the survivors, as well as those who, have gone before us.
It's also, if I may say it, it's a reminder of the person, a celebration of the person's life.
Exactly, a happy thing, not
happy thing,
right.
yeah.
Something you're doing that's happy and it's positive. And
yeah, A very close friend of mine's. My wife and I were very close to this couple, and she got liver cancer and ended up passing, sadly, at a very young age. And every year they have a walk, and we go there to help celebrate her life and to help raise some funds, I think.
yeah, and it makes a big
nice.
difference for the family, I think.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of positive, feelings come out of that.
Yes.
We enjoy it.
So tell me, what other ways do you serve at Hope Cancer, and how many families are you serving?
Right now we have about 120 families we're serving, and that equals out to usually about 300 people.
Okay.
And that's our max with the current staff we have.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of families.
It is. And
Yeah.
some families, usually the beginning is when we need the most help, and then we get them started with us and they kind of know the routine. So there's a lot more that needs to be done initially, and then it's more maintenance as we go along. So we do a lot at Christmas and Thanksgiving for the families. And that's a great opportunity for anybody who'd like to volunteer to get started with us. Christmas time, we buy presents, wrap and deliver.
Really?
We do Thanksgiving meals, we do Christmas meals, we do Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity if it's somebody who just wants to do something meaningful in the holidays.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So volunteering opportunities, Christmas time, the holidays.
Yes.
Because people need some assistance, a little bit more assistance then.
Right.
What other ways could somebody who's watching the show tonight help your organization?
First you can do is you can go on our website and www.hopecancer.org. www.hopecancer.org. And click on the volunteer tab, and you can see all the ways you can volunteer.
Okay.
But what I want to stress is all I need for you to be a volunteer is a giving heart. I will find a place for you.
Okay.
Our volunteers are our lifeblood. That's how we deliver all the services we do to the clients we do. We wouldn't be able to do that without them.
Right.
So if you just want to, come in the office and file because you had a person who died with cancer, someone you know that died from cancer, but it's too emotional to maybe see cancer patients, but you want to feel part of a ministry that's helping,
right.
You can come and file, or you could do a mass mailing. If you want to sort out you like the organization, you want to clean my supply closet because it's a mess most of the time, you can do that. I mean, always, whatever you want to do, if it's not listed there, do not be dissuaded. You'll see the general email on our homepage. Email and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'd like to volunteer. Call me, email me, and we will get a hold of you and find a place for you. Like I said, all I need is the person who's willing to give of themselves, and we'll find a spot for you.
I think that's a good point. A lot of people that say, well, I don't know if I have the time to volunteer, don't really know that, gee, even 5 hours a week could mean a lot, or a month. Could mean a whole lot to that nonprofit organization.
You could come work 2 football games throughout the whole season, and that's it, and that would help us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll train you that day.
If you had 10 people like that, I mean, that
takes care of, we staff 10 people for the concession stands.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, so, or if you just want to come once at Christmas, we have a lot of people just come at Christmas, or they just help with the race, or they just, there's people that pick something that they do, and that's what they do every year. So.
Right, right.
And the bigger the Army, the stronger the mission, so.
So if somebody wants to reach out and contact Hope Cancer, what's the best way? Through the website?
Through the website. Our general email is info@hopecancer.org.
Okay.
And that's on the homepage. And you can just click on it and email us. We're also on Facebook. Like us on Facebook, and we constantly put all kinds of our events and information. And then if you do contact us, if you just want to be on our email, just to start with our group email, just to see what we do. Just say, hey, we have a lot of people who do that. Add me to your group email. We send a prayer requests out once a month. We send out, hey, we need a new fridge. Hey, somebody needs a ride. Hey, and you don't have to do it, but it might be a good opportunity to just get started with us.
Fantastic. Well, Christine Schroeder, the Executive Director of Hope Cancer Ministries, was our guest this evening. I learned a lot myself about your ministry and what it can do. It's not just Christian-based, it's for
everybody.
Non-denominational, correct?
Anybody.
Yeah.
All you have to do, cancer, unfortunately, is the requirement.
So if you need help, or you know somebody that needs help, or you'd like to be a volunteer, please contact her. My name is Phil Koch with Aging with Attitude. Thank you again for joining us. Good night.